afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's ClaritySoft training webinar. Today is Tuesday, January 26, 2021, and I'm Susan Arnold, Implementation Specialist here at ClaritySoft. Today, our topic is making the most of the Leads module. What we're going to do throughout the next few months is do a webinar concentrating on one module at a time, so that you learn everything about that module and know how to use it and everything you need to know. And then this will give you, a good solid understanding. So we're starting with the Leads module today. And what we will be doing is, first of all, giving you an overview. Some of you may be using the Leads module, some of you may not. Adding custom fields, creating new lead records in the Leads module. You can create records one of three ways. You can manually enter records, you can import a list of records, or you can create a lead web form that integrates with your website page and put a form on your website page where people can fill in the information and have it come directly into the Leads module as a new lead record. Then once we get some records in there, we'll just work with the leads, adding some activities, updating them, changing the status, changing the stage. Again, the way you would do just to keep yourself organized and know what you're doing with your different leads. Also adding activities. You can add single activities, you can add action plans to leads, you can send email blasts, marketing blasts if you have the marketing module, etc. Then once your lead is qualified and you determine what that is, you convert the lead to create account record, contact record, and a sales opportunity, and we'll go from there. And then we'll take a quick look at reports and what reports are in the reports module for leads. So we'll cover everything that has to do with leads, and that's it today. So here's a quick graph of our sales process or sales cycle, where you can create a lead. You work to qualify that lead, okay? You're making phone calls, you're setting up meetings, you're sending emails, you're gathering information about that company, that person, to make sure they're a good fit for your products, for your company. And if they match all the qualifications and they're interested, then you take that lead to convert it. So this is the part we're going to cover today. And then in a next future session, we'll do just opportunities and then quotes and then sales, so that you will get a full understanding of this whole process. Okay. So let's go to ClaritySoft. And I have already gone into the Leads module. Now, the first thing I want you to understand, the Leads module is optional. You do not have to use it. And, I'm going to make a wild guess that maybe 50% of the people that I work with do use the Leads module and 50% do not. So it is basically, it sits a bit separate from the rest of the database, and its purpose is to allow you to import lists of leads that you may get from a trade show or a networking event, or you purchase a leads list, and you then can import those into the Leads module, and they stay separated from your already qualified prospects and customers that are in your accounts module. So it's just a kind of a holding tank for you, and keeps the clutter, so to speak, out of your accounts. And while you're in leads, then you can work to qualify them, and you're going to have two possibilities. Once you work with the lead, you're either going to close it because it's not going to go anywhere. You've worked with them and just not going to go anywhere, so you can close that lead, in which case it would stay in the Leads module. Perhaps over time, you might filter for all of your closed leads and look at them and say, these guys definitely not a match, and delete them if you wish. Okay. They've never gotten out of the leads module. They're never going to go anywhere. So that would be up to you. And then the other option would be they would get converted and they would go over then to continue on your sales cycle and hopefully become a customer. And your converted leads will stay in the leads module. Once you convert them, you do not come back here to work with them anymore, okay? But you can see that they are converted. You also have the ability to see a conversion date, which I'll show you shortly. So you can see when they were created and when they were converted to become a potential sales opportunity. So your statuses in here are a brand new lead, working leads that you're working with, closed, and converted, okay? Another way that you can use your leads module, some people have an inside sales team that does the qualifying, where their purpose, how they work each day is to actually contact new leads, maybe drum up cold leads and things like that, and talk with those leads to qualify them. Once they qualify them and get them to a point where they're ready to move forward, the inside salesperson would convert the lead and assign that lead to an outside salesperson to pick up and go from there. So there's a lot of different ways you can use the leads module in your business. And hopefully after today, you'll have some ideas and be able to sit down with your team and think through, how you might want to use the module if you're not yet using it. Basically, the layout of the screen is the same as all the other modules. You have your name of your module up here. These are the built-in filters, and then you can create new ones here using the advanced search. You have your quick search here for typing in the name of a company or a contact and finding that record. And then you have your advanced search here, okay? So it's basically the same. So when you're setting things up, the first thing you would want to do is decide what are the fields that we need in here that will help us gather the information that we want on a new lead. So obviously you're getting the name of the business, the contact name, a title for the person, if there's a nickname, the salutation. So you're getting all this phone number, address information, but you may also want to say, well, I want to find out the type of business it is or the industry type. I want to find out what products of ours they may be interested in. I want to find out, maybe even if they're working with a competitor of ours. All of this would depend on your business and the kind of information you need. You might want to find out a time frame. If they were to move forward, how soon would they be ready? Immediately, within 3 months, 6 months, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to sit down and think through all of the possible questions that you would ask when talking to someone new, because you can create those custom fields in here. And then as your salesperson is working with them, they just literally, click on a drop down and say, this is this, so you just pick. And that helps you then be able to search for people in a specific industry and maybe aim an email campaign at them, or just search to see, where they are in your stages. These are customizable over here. So you can change these to fit your process. These stages can be kind of pre-opportunity pipeline stages. What are you doing before you convert it to an opportunity, and then you pick up in opportunities where you've left off in here? Quality you can set also as good, average, bad, hot, warm, cold, whatever again fits your business, your style. And then lead sources, this is customizable, which I'm sure most of you know that. So you can go into settings and set these. So all of this information you want to think through and decide upon before you start bringing in information. So what I want to do, because this is a comprehensive, throw it all at you at once, is I want to show you how to add some custom fields in case you don't know. Now for this operation or this function, you do need to be an admin user in your database. So if you are not, just pay attention and you can tell your admin user what you would like. So you click on your settings button, you go to customization, you go to leads, and then you'll have a list of your custom fields. I have a bunch of custom fields I've turned off. I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to call this one industry type. You could call it market segment, just plain industry, whatever works. The data type that I'm going to select is a dropdown. And then I simply type my choices. I'm going to type manufacturing. These seem like they're not really. So you basically are just typing your list. Okay. Once you've got your list, then you can click the Save button. And you will now have a new custom field. And I want to add another one. I'm just going to call this one product interest. And you may have different categories of products that you sell that you could put the categories. You wouldn't want specific products necessarily, but, and again, now this one, because they might be interested in more than one product or service, I'm going to make into a drop-down multi-select. I'm going to keep this really simple. Okay, let me do this. Okay, this is going to be product 3, product 2. Okay, so you would list your products or product categories here. All right. And then I'm going to add one more. And I'm going to make this one a drop down. And this one is going to be immediate. Immediate is a sweet sound to any salesperson's ears. Okay. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. Now, a reason for doing this would be to be able to search on those leads that are, immediate leads. You want to pay attention to them. Oh, I can't use the greater than sign. I'll just take that one out. No worries. Okay. You would want to jump on those and not lose them. If you imported several hundred leads, you want to find out which ones are immediate. So you want to start contacting that, make sure you keep up with them. So I have added my custom fields. They're down here. And the next step after I add any custom fields in ClaritySoft is I have to put them in the user interface template or the screen layout. So I go to UI templates. On the right, I choose the lead UI template. And then I choose my access profile. Now you may have different access profiles here that you've set up. So you would choose one of them, and then you can copy your layout elsewhere. So now I have industry type. Where am I going to stick all this stuff? I'm just going to stick it in the middle here. Industry type, product interest, and time frame. These fields all are movable. You can move them anywhere you want. For example, I might want to pull my address fields over here or put them in the third column or whatever you want to do. This is all under your control. So maybe I want to do it this way. So basically all my contact information is in one column and then my other detail information is here. And then I have a creation date. I'm going to put this over here. Okay, maybe I want the lead source to come over here. So you work it the way you want. Perhaps status is here, stage, quality. All right. Susan, you're getting out of control here. So anyway, the other thing that some of you may not know if you haven't been in settings in a while, we now have the ability under this tab here for column customization that as an admin user, you are able to put the columns that you would like your users to see by default in the list view when they first log in. So for example, you may want them to be able to see the city. You may want them to be able to see the state, or you may want them to see the industry type because that's an important field that they may search on. So you are now able to pull these fields into view and then come over here and click Apply Columns to Users. Then you can also choose what the sorting is and how many records per page. I usually like to set it to 100. So you get to control that now as a default, and then your people, unless you lock this, would be able to change it. I recommend you let them change it because it just makes sense that they might want to search things a little differently. So when I save this, I now have added my new fields. I've rearranged my screen. Okay. Now, if you have additional access profiles, at this point, you can do a copy to, and then select the other access profiles that you want to copy this layout to. Okay. And then you just select all the ones you want and then save it. And then that access profile will be updated to match this one. So you don't have to do it yourself over and over again. And I'm just going to click save to be sure everything is saved. And then you must log out. So when I go back in and I open my lead record, it will be laid out in the layout that I created. Okay, so all my address information is over here. And then here's my industry type that I just added. We'll say they're in retail. My product interest is a multi-select. They're in this and this. Okay. And my time frame, give them 6 months. Okay. So that's how you would add your fields. And then, like I said, you want to sit down and think through what are all the questions you're asking that allow you to, gather the right information. Okay. Okay, Bruce is asking me a question. When I enter a business person into leads module, are they also automatically entered into accounts and contact? No, they are not. They do not go over to the accounts and contact until you convert the lead. Okay. And when you convert the lead, ClaritySoft searches the account side and looks for matching companies on the account side. So you do not create duplicates. Okay. All right, so we've done that. And I'm going to do a save and close. So that's my first step, is to get my custom fields in there the way I want them. Then after that, would be to get new leads into the database, okay, into the leads module. Well, that, like I said, there's 3 ways to do it. Manually enter a new lead, import a list of leads, or set up a lead form, web form that will bring things in from your web page. So to enter a new lead manually, you can click here on the new lead button and start typing the information, okay? And now another thing I always like to bring up, when you're entering a new contact, either in the leads module or even in the contacts module, you're typing the first and last name in what looks like the same field, but ClaritySoft is not storing it that way. If you click on contact here, it opens a little window to show you all the name parts. Gwen is in first name, Kenna is in last name. And notice you can have a prefix, which you can define in your settings. Under system settings, there's a prefix list you can create, and there's a suffix list if you need to use them. So you don't have to have them if you don't want. But when you're typing the name, the space is the separator, okay? So if I would click in here and type Lee and then Kenna, now Lee is going to be in the middle name, okay? So when you're typing names, just to check that everything is in the right spot, open the little window and check to make sure, okay? But that just saves you screen space rather than having all these extra fields for first name, middle name, last name. We've programmed it to recognize the name as you type it and put it in the right parts. So I would go down through here, fill in my information, you know, what's she in? She's in purchasing, fill in the address, and you want to fill this information in. You want it to be complete. Because what you will do after you've added all these different custom fields in your leads module, you can go to the accounts module, contacts, and opportunities and add all these same custom fields that you have added in here. And when you convert the lead, then the data will transfer. This is very important to know that you can do that, okay? So for example, what's she in? We'll just call it there. Product interest, you know, she's got this. So all of these things are here that you're filling in as you're working with the lead. And you might not know all of it right off the bat. You might have to make a few phone calls, but you continue to fill it in, and then you continue to set her status. She's brand new when you first start, but then as soon as you start contacting her, she becomes a working lead. And then you can filter out your working leads against your new leads, which helps you keep them straight, okay? So if I go down and click save, you will see the screen change where now Gwen is up at the top with her company name. I now have all the tabs here for adding activities, okay? And my shortcut buttons up here. So you can add it manually. Then you can do a save and new if you wanted. It will save this record and open it. I'm going to do a save and close for right now. So that's how you would add one manually. Well, now how do you import? I have a list here, okay? So you may get a list from a trade show or something. And so the basic layout needs to be that you would have to have the company name in one column, the first name and the last name of the person split, okay? If you have a lead source column, you can have that. If you don't, no worries. Website, you can have their title, all right? Salutation is a nickname or just their first name. Phone number you have, mobile, fax. Again, whatever you're getting from them, you can put in here. The order of the columns, the names of the column headings does not matter because you map the fields when you put them in. So what was I going to say over here? Oh, import source. This is maybe another custom field you want to add to your leads module, or actually any of your modules where you're going to be importing data. This lets you put the name of a file. So you can see I have this in here, leads list 126, oops, this should be 2021. I must have been in the wrong universe when I did this. Okay, fix that. And so this helps you then kind of identify those leads when you bring them in, because you could search on this import source field to find the name of the file and the list of leads that came in with that name of the file. Because creation date could work, but what if one of your users or several of your users added 5 or 10 new leads manually today and you imported a list? Well, they're all going to get jumbled together. So if you put an import source in, then you'll have that information. I think I already have that in my record, but I'm not sure. So we want to import this. So let me push this back over to the side. Usually when you're doing an import, you may leave the record open or the spreadsheet file open, although I have found a few people that need to close it. It just depends on something in your Windows. So to import, you click on the square button up here. That's the Tools menu. Import. And then you select Leads. You're going to create new records. You choose the file. So you go find where the file is stored. I've already gone to it, so it knows where to go. And then it comes up here, and you may need to select a worksheet. If there's more than one worksheet in your spreadsheet file, then you would pick the worksheet where the data is. Red buttons here mean these are required fields to import. The green ones are already matched because they are spelled the same, and the yellow ones are optional. Okay. So first of all, I need to match. And company name with a space matches company name without a space in my spreadsheet. And then first name, same thing. So you just go down through, you check, okay, cities mapped. Contact mode, I don't believe. Contact role, I don't remember. Let me check. See, if you don't remember, you can go to your spreadsheet and you can look. I do not have that in here. Okay. Usually you don't have that on an import. Country, I do not have. Email matched, fax matched. There's import source, so I do have a field there. Industry type. I don't have an industry type in my sheet, okay, which you may not have. Then lead quality, I don't have. Lead source, I do have, and it's called lead sources in the spreadsheet. Lead stage, I don't have a middle name. Mobile phone. Owner, now owner will be a user in the system. You might not have an owner in your spreadsheet. So if you don't, you just, well, it won't map itself, but if you know also maybe it's not correct, you can unmap it. Okay. And then there's phone. My extension was not in a separate field. It was in the same field with phone, which is fine. Product interest. Let me see if I have them spelled the same. I don't have it at all. Okay. Salutation is there. State, territory, Must be in there. Time frame, I don't have. Title is their job title, website, and then zip code is at the very bottom. The address is kind of split up because they put these in alphabetical order here, which can get a little bit confusing. But you go down and you map, and then you just check. Anything with a green is mapped, anything with a yellow is not. And then you just simply click on import file, import data, okay. And then you will see it down here and it will say uploaded. Now, a couple of hints on importing. Number one, depending on your rights in the database, you may not be able to import, so you won't have the option to do it. It may be assigned to just your admin user, okay? Number two, during the business day, which is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time, you are able to upload up to 5,000 records at one time. If you have more than 5,000, then you'll get a message that your import is being deferred until after, I guess it's 6 p.m. Eastern time. So after 6 p.m., it will then get in the queue and be uploaded at some point. So we put some limitations on that. Oh, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 months ago. But it'll sit here and be uploaded. And then you just click the refresh button and it will go to processing and then it will go to completed. And right now it says I had 6 records, 6 were inserted and there were no problems. If it skips any records, then you will receive an email, which you will receive anyway. Let me pull it over. I got too many windows open on my second monitor. So you'll receive an email that gives you an import summary. It'll tell you what module, how many records, how many were inserted. So if any were skipped for a reason, like maybe an email address was spelled incorrectly or in the wrong format, then it would tell you. And you'll have a grid down here and it'll say at row 5, this record was skipped because it had an invalid email. So you can go to row 5 and make the fix and then re-import, okay? So after every import, you will receive a summary on the import to tell you what came in, what did not, and then you can make fixes, all right? So we've imported 6 records. Let's go back. And in my leads, what did I do with creation date? So I set the settings in the user interface template, but I neglected to have creation date here, which I want to be able to sort by. So I'm going to pull this over, put it here. So this allows your users to change it at any point in time. So you set the default ones, but then the person can change it. So here's my creation date. And what I want to do is sort by my creation date. So here are my 6 records, 126, all the way down to here. So I have brought in all my new records. Now, one of the things you can do, especially if you're perhaps the sales manager and you need to assign these leads to a new owner, the sales rep, you can go to your advanced search and you can create a time filter for creation date is this one day, meaning today. So now I should get only the records I created. I have 7 because I manually entered blue energy. Okay, so I have 7 new records for today, which means then I could go along and I could assign these to the appropriate salesperson. Okay, and then they will know that they have new leads. Now, once you've created that search, if you're going to use this every single day, you click on the search options, go to save the view or the filter, and I'm kind of making a long name because I know I have one already saved and I just want to make it different. So now what happens is that is up here. So I can toggle between all leads, which are everything new, working, converted, closed, which is 127, or I can go to just new leads, which is 79, or I can go directly to leads created today, or this is the one I just created, new leads for today, and run that filter and then do what I want to do with them. Okay. So that allows you as a manager to just see all the new leads that have come in just today, whether they were manually created or they were imported. Now, this actually, because we entered this one manually, this one belongs to me, and I don't want the sales manager taking it away from me, nor do I as a sales manager want to take it away. So this is where that import source field can become important. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way for right now. And I'm going to move this out of the way. It's kind of cluttered. Okay, so now I can see my import source. And notice there is no import source for Blue Energy Marketing because it was not imported, but I can see all the other ones were imported. So that allows you then to pick and choose the leads, so you could then further filter on the import source to pull up just the ones that were created today with this import source, and then you would be able to do what you want to do with them. So if I wanted to reassign things, maybe I assign things according to state, I could, sort by the state, and then pick states. Let's see, they're scattered all over the place. Let's say I'm going to take Arkansas and California, and I want to give them to one person. So I can select those two, go to actions, group edit, the records that are checked, select the owner, and assign it to the person that I want it to own. Boom, done. Okay. So now Bill Miller owns these two. So it's very easy to see the new leads, select the leads, assign them to a new owner. Okay. So that's importing leads. All right. Then the next way you can bring them in is with a web form. So I want to go over that quickly. Again, settings. So you have to be an admin person. And then you go to web forms and you go to leads. And then you add a new web form. Okay. I'm going to open one that I've already created just to save time. Notice you can have more than one web form. So you might have multiple web forms on your website for different things. And so you can have a different lead web form for each of those and create different ones. So when you get here, you have 3 tabs, the details tab, the form fields, and round robin. And if you haven't been in here for a while, we did just recently update all of this and make it a little bit more intuitive than it was. So if you explored it before and thought, oh goodness, I don't know what to do here, you might want to go back again and look at it. So first of all, you give your form a name. That can be anything you want it to be. The web form source is the name of the web page where the lead web form is located. I just called it contact request because I don't really have a real website, okay? So that's the location on your website where the form is. The lead source this is what you want when the new record is created, what you want as the default lead source when it comes in. So I just picked website, okay? You can add to your lead source drop-down list to make it lead web form or something like that. CAPTCHA, what this is, this allows you to add to your web page, if you wish, that when someone goes to fill out a form, you know how sometimes you go to web pages and you start to fill it out and it pops up where you have to say, I'm not a robot, and then it gives you some kind of crazy characters that you have to say, what is this word? Or it might say, of all these pictures, how many have a tree in them or something like that, and you have to click on them. So you can choose that if you want to incorporate it into your website, all right? There are some other steps you need to follow because you will need to get a CAPTCHA site key through Google, and all of this information is on our knowledge base where you can look it up. But you get to choose version 2 or 3. Version 2 does what I just described, and version 3 does that, plus it returns some scoring to you. So it's just another level higher. If you don't want to use it, don't select it. The submit URL is really your website. Okay, that's where this is coming from. And the authorized URL is that it validates, this is the validation that what this is coming in from a valid website. Okay. Remove styling will say to remove the standard web form styling. I do not know what happens if you choose that. So that might be a tech support team question. Then you'll have an option here for send notification. So right now, if it's not checked, you don't see anything below here. If you do check it, then you get some options. I want to send an immediate email to the contact, the person submitting the form, that once they submit the form, ClaritySoft shoots them an email and says, thank you for, giving us, thank you for your inquiry, and we will, be in touch with you. That you would create the template over here, okay? I have created a template. I just called it new lead form submission confirmation. So you create your template and then you can put it here. You can also have a notification sent to the owner of the record. Okay, so when the new lead is created, an owner can be assigned by default, which I'll talk about up here in the round robin. And then that owner of the record will receive an email to say, hey, you have a new lead. And you would have the template ready for them. And then this allows you to send to any custom email besides the owner of the record. So you choose what notifications you want sent and to whom, all right? Then the form fields allow you, over here will be all of your fields from the lead record, including your industry type, your time frame, all your custom fields that you added. So you may pick and choose any of these fields, and you basically just click on a field. So for example, if I did want to know what their industry was, I can click it, click the little arrow, bring it over. So this is a list of the fields that are in the form. And then over here, you decide, well, of these fields, which ones do I want as required fields? They cannot submit the form unless they give me this information, okay? You may want to add company to that. And you could also perhaps move company to the top. Okay, so you've got that. So you choose the fields that you want, put them in the order in which you want them in the form, and then which ones are required. Okay, then the last step here, we just added this recently because people were requesting this. When new leads come in, they wanted the assignment of the salesperson to be somewhat automated. So you didn't have to go through that group editing thing that I just showed you. So we created this where you can say, okay, these are the 3 people, or these are the 4 people that this is going to cycle through. The first one goes to Katie, the second one to Susan, the third one to Bill, the fourth one to Jim, the fifth one to Katie, and so on and so on. So it just keeps going round and round as new leads come in to assign. Okay. So you get all of this set up. Then you go down to the bottom and you want to save it all so that you've got it saved. I think it says save, probably there it is up at the top. Then you click generate code. And what happens is the HTML code that you need to apply to your website is created here, and then you can get your web person to basically copy this code and place it on your website, which then will make the connection it'll create the form. So here's my form. Notice the red asterisk indicates the required fields. So this will create this form on your web page, and then it'll have, once you click submit, the coding that will then bring it into ClaritySoft. Now you might need some help on this if you aren't a web designer, but our tech support team can probably give you some help and support on creating this. So that's your other way to bring in additional leads from a lead web form, okay? And then here, your templates, this is like creating your email templates. So I just created a little letter here. And you can pull in, just like the regular email templates, you can pull in fields. So you can pull in different field names here into the text. So I just said basically, hello, first name, thank you for your inquiry, blah, blah, blah. You would make a much nicer letter than this, okay? Might put some graphics in of your company or products or whatever. You'd make this really nice so their initial email from you that they receive is really a nice professional looking email, okay? So that would be the template that you create that then you put in the notifications. All right, so that's how we get it all in. Now what do we do? Okay, we got our new leads here. A thing that I mentioned before was applying action plans. So for activities to follow up on leads. And again, this could be done by the new owner of the lead record. It could be done by the sales manager. So an action plan in ClaritySoft is a bundle of activities that you put together. So again, I'm going to go back to settings. And under here, we have action plans. You may create as many action plans as you like. I have created one. Let's see. So you click the add button to add a new one. You give it a name so you know what it's talking about. And then you have an option in your counting of days to exclude weekends. Or if you uncheck it, it would include the count. So if you exclude weekends, 7 days from today would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. If you include weekends, then it would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay. So it's just a difference. And it kind of depends on how you think. So, and you won't have weekends showing up in your dates. But the cool thing about an action plan is you add an activity, and I'm going to open this one. You give the activity a name. This is basically the subject. You choose the activity type from your list. You can set a priority, okay? Then you assign it. And the best thing to do is to assign it to the record owner, okay? Unless a specific person is supposed to do this step all the time. Then you can assign it to a specific person. Then you say, okay, I want this activity to start 0 days after the action plan starts and be completed within 2. All right. I don't necessarily recommend setting reminders for all these things, because if somebody got 5 leads in today or 10 leads, they get bombarded with a whole bunch of emails about it. So I think that might be more annoying than helpful. And then these 2 fields here, this is that category field that nobody really uses. So I don't know that you need that. And this is a custom one, so ignore that. You won't even have it. So you save that, and then you start building your plan. So first we want to send an introductory email, which we'll create a template for. Then we want to follow up that with a phone call with start within 4 days, complete within 6. Then we want to send a second email. And then you might want to add another activity. So you continue to add activities that you want in this action plan that kind of keep your team moving forward with contacting the person, okay? You save your plan, and you would log out and log back in, which mine was already there, so I'm good. And so now if I go back to my new leads and I click in, well, I can even click in this one because it's brand new. The salesperson would do it. So I'm just going to select all of these, go to actions, action plan for all the records selected. Then I choose my action plan. And it's set to start today. You can set this to any date, okay? You might not want the action plan for something to start, for a week or something, whatever, but it will default to today, which is good. All right. And then you'll see it's laying in these 3 activities. One starting today needs to be done within 2 days, starting in 4 days, 6 days, 10 days, 12 days. Okay. Now you could also say, I want you to stick this on the person's calendar by clicking in the checkbox. You can also say to send them an email. That's that reminder thing. I'm just going to save it. And this is the cool part. I go to each one of these. Oops. 3 activities, all set, all ready to go. I did not go to 7 different leads and add 3 activities per lead. I added all of them at one time by applying an action plan. So action plans can be set up. Now, Jeff has asked me, can the emails be automated with the action plan? No, they cannot, but that may be coming. One of the things you could do in here is you could have a custom field with, talking about sending an email, and then you could set up a workflow for that, which a workflow looks at a field and is a trigger for sending something like an email or creating an activity. So you could explore doing it that way. Okay. But once this is done here, then you can go to your activities module and you would then see your activities. So if I am looking at today's activities for me, here are, where are my activities? Oh, these are, should be today's activities. Why am I seeing future stuff? I should just see today's stuff. That filter doesn't seem to be working. But here's my 126. So here are my initial lead email right here for my 6 new leads. So that's there. Okay. So then the person knows. Now, the other thing in here, if you aren't aware of this, any record with the asterisk in front of the account and contact name means it's a lead record. Anything without it, it is an account or contact record. Okay, so that's how you can differentiate that. But you can see how the action plan can save you time. And then as your salesperson maybe goes to their activities for the day, they see the list here and they know exactly what they need to do, because mixed in with an initial lead email could be a follow-up call to a lead or another call to an account. So it all shows up in your to-do list, okay? And my to-do list is messy because I go back without, I don't complete my activities, okay? So that's that. So you start adding, and then when you qualify a lead, so you're doing your activities, you're sending emails. If you need to send an email to a lead, you can simply open the record, and up here, click the email, type the email, send it. All right. Then it's saved to the closed activities. As you do your activities, like if I've done this one for today, initial lead email, then I can just slide over here, mark it complete. It's off my list. It's in closed activities, it's being done. Okay. So if you're working in ClaritySoft, this is the same as what you do everywhere else. Okay. So let's say I have qualified Mavis here. I'm going to save her record. You want to make sure all your details are filled in, which I haven't done. So let's see what we've got here. Let's call this retail. Time frame, let's say immediate. And I guess we've got most everything else. So I'm going to save this. Now I can come up here once I make sure everything is filled in as it should be. I save it, and then I come up here and click this button, Convert Lead. It's going to tell me I'm creating an account for Bishop Storage, contact for Mavis Brooks. It's assigned to Bill, or I can assign it to any other sales rep. So if you're doing the inside kind of outside thing, you could assign it to anyone else. All right. And then I have this set to create an opportunity by default. In the settings. And then I click convert. Now, if I can click convert, and I have the option then to say, well, when I convert this, I want to open the account record first, or the contact record, or I want to go directly to the opportunity record. So I click on that. And to go back to Bruce's question before about duplicates, if I'm converting an account name, and Bishop Storage or a lead, and Bishop Storage is already an account, then it will pop up and say, oh, there's already Bishop Storage. Do you want to just use this account, or do you want to create another one, in which case you'd want to add something in the site field if it's a different location. So that's it. I convert, I have my opportunity, boom, ready to do my opportunity. Now, if I go back to leads, then notice right here, my lead says converted. So ClaritySoft automatically converts it for you. And if you have a filter up here, like this is new leads for today, if you had a filter up here for just new leads, it would disappear from the list, okay? And then you could go and look at your converted leads or all leads. So there's converted today, okay? So it will create a conversion date for you of today, which that conversion date you then can see throughout the database. Those dates are available in the user interface template for accounts, contacts, opportunities, sales, and quotes. Okay, so that's that. Now, reports, quick. Whoa, I didn't think I'd use the whole time. So 30 seconds. Go to leads. And all the reports that are here are leads by owner, stage, quality, and state year to date. So that would be this year so far from January 1st. So these are built in. I can just simply click on this. This is going to group by the owner, show me all the new leads for just this year, download to Excel. There it is. Get too many things in the way. So there it is. Bill Miller has 2, okay, and Susan Arnold has 5. And if you've done anything with reports, you know that you can create your own reports, create your own filters, all that sort of thing. So then you can run your reports at any point in time. Reports also can be scheduled to run. So for example, if you wanted to know at the end of each month, how many leads were created in this past month, then you could have a report that would have a time filter of the creation date was last month. Then as long as you run it on the first of the next month, it will look backwards and say, okay, during the month of January, you created, 100 new leads. So that's how you can do that. And then you can save them. And those time filters are really helpful because they roll forward with you as you move. All right, we've come to the end of our time. Hopefully you got enough information now if you're not using leads to say, maybe we'll think about it, or maybe you got some new ideas on how to better use your leads module with your team. And we'll look for you in a couple of weeks for our next session. Have a great day.